what does home mean to you? And for me, like the answer always was and still is. It could be like very cliche, but for me, like home is where my bookshelves are. I mean, it's where like I love to read. So for me, like having bookshelves, having place for the book, this is for me like something that represents like home, place of comfort and safety. And I still don't have that.
Oh, okay.
So before coming to Valencia, like moving here, I already spent like 2 months here. I was actually at a co-living, so I had some time to get to know the city and its vibe. I need to give you a bit more of context, I feel, because why I moved from Slovenia. Because right before that, I ended a long-term relationship. I had to move out of our flat, and I ended up staying back at my parents'.
Oh,
So that was like, I'm gonna stay here in Slovenia. Like, where do I move? Where do I find my own flat? Or do I finally wanna try how it's like living outside of the country? I always had this wish to experience life outside of my country. Because back home, I always felt a bit stuck and constrained. This is gonna sound like very selfish, but I was always craving something more, something different. And I always had a feeling that I had to like settle for less. I could never really accept that. I was like, I'm always gonna wonder how it would look like if I would just say yes and just went for it.
what were you hopeful for as you were packing your bags and making the move?
That I will be able to create a space for myself where I can get my energy back and also rediscover what makes me curious, what makes me me. And just like I said, just like to reconnect with what I actually like want and need to have like that, the life I imagine, the life that feels good. Especially the last year I was in Slovenia, I felt like I lost myself very much. And the life that I was living there was really making me depressed.
I see some similarities. I lived here for 1 month. I did a co-living.
Okay.
So I did that September of 2024, and then September 2025, I moved here.
Okay, 1 year later. Basically.
1 year later.
Okay, yeah.
There were people in my group, and we were all strangers, and then I formed some really nice friendships in that group. But I remember someone telling me, "You look really happy here." And I remember when I went back home, even my manager, my boss at work, she's like, "Your eyes sparkle when you talk about Valencia." And I was like, I felt like I was a full human being in that month. What did you experience when you went back after those months?
No, it's actually now that you said that, I had the same experience when my teammates at work said that. Like, you look like you are glowing.
Oh, I love
And I was like, damn, yeah, it's true. Like, I feel really good here.
Yeah.
So even when I went back home, I was like, yeah, I need and I want more of that. I want to feel like I did during those 2 months in Valencia. So that was also like, yeah, one more push for me. Okay, let's do it.
Right, I love that. But you did experience a sense of guilt once you arrived. Tell me more about what that was like.
I was just feeling guilty that I'm living here and they're there and I'm not there for them in a way. And then the other feeling of guilt was because I realized after 2 months living here, I had like this big revelation. Oh my God, my life is so good right now. It feels so good. I think it was during one of the conversations with my friend. And immediately after I said that, I had this pinch of guilt. Like, oh my God, can I have this life that feels so good right now? Is this okay? Is this how it can look like? It just felt very weird in a way.
Where was the guilt coming from? Was it because other people back at home were not experiencing what you were experiencing here?
I was feeling more guilty because back home I was always playing this role of like someone who needs to fix something when things are not going well, whether it's like family relationships or other stuff.
Okay.
And now I had this feeling, oh my God, I'm not there. How are they going to make it work?
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
But then like going back like the first time and second time, I realized, okay, they can live just fine without me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like life goes on.
Yeah.
So I just had like this idea of my role, which I had to let go of. And then also like this feeling of guilt like slowly went away.
Wow. And isn't that so freeing that sometimes we put these pressures on ourselves, but then realizing that no, you can do things just for yourself, and that's okay too. So tell me more about your first few weeks in Valencia. What were those first few weeks like?
Very stressful.
Yeah.
I had this big feeling of fear of missing out. I just wanted to do like everything at once. And then after a few weeks, I was completely exhausted because I just like, I wanted to go to this meetup, to this meetup. I was taking Spanish classes. I started bachata classes. I started my art classes. So I was just like all over the place. You know, the move on its own, it was like super stressful. Then me doing all this stuff. And then after a few weeks, I was just like, oh my God, I need a break. But it's also like because my initial plan actually was to stay for 3 months only.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
It wasn't like, okay, I'm going for a year. So even just because of that, I wanted to experience as much as I can in those first 3 months. I remember I was so exhausted. Like it was, yeah.
I can imagine because you felt like you were on a time crunch. So, at which point did you decide this is not going to be just 3 months? I'm staying here for good.
It was during a conversation with one of my flatmates in the first flat share. She asked me, why are you going to stay longer? Like, if you like being here, why are you going to stay longer? What's preventing you from staying longer? And I was like, well, nothing really. So why am I not staying longer? And it was funny because right when I started thinking about that, my friend Chelsea, who I met in the time during co-living, she texted me that she got an apartment and she's looking for a flatmate. And she asked me if I want to be her flatmate. I was like, yes, I'm staying. I'm going to be your flatmate. Let's just do it. Before I moved here, the one reason why I picked flat share is because I knew that that's going to help me with not feeling as lonely. It's going to be easier.
You already have people living with you.
You already have
Okay.
people, so you can like a bit avoid of that feeling of being lonely. But I was actually going back through my journal entries this morning because I wanted to see like what was happening in my head 1 year ago.
Yeah.
And I had a lot of journal entries that I'm feeling so lonely.
Oh, wow.
So I think like in the first 3 months or so, you're meeting people, but you don't really have like connections yet. You know, like you don't really have friends that you meet on a weekly basis yet. Someone who can you just call and say, okay, can you meet for coffee today or something? Yeah. I was surrounded by many people, but at the same time, I was feeling lonely because I didn't have any deep connections yet with those people I was meeting.
It was more surface level.
Yeah, exactly. Then around March and April, I think it started for me like more happening that I was like meeting. I made some friends with whom I started meeting on more regular basis, creating more shared experiences. And that's what also made then a big difference for me that I wasn't feeling as lonely anymore.
That's nice. Yeah. But it's interesting that you went back to your journal entries that you were like, what was that?
Yeah, because it's been a year. And I actually, when I was reading, oh my God, I was like, I forgot already so many things. Even like those hard things or moments that were happening back then. It's already a year, and now it's a completely different picture from what I was in those first 3 months compared to now.
So when you look back at a year ago at those journal entries, what is the evolution that you've seen in yourself in the life that you're building here?
It's kind of like you can see there was a mix of emotions. Mm-hmm. There was like this excitement of this possibility of creating this new life, which is full of opportunities.
Yeah.
And then on the other hand, like uncertainty of moving into a new place and not knowing what comes next. And then this feeling of guilt I already mentioned.
Yeah.
It's very funny, like how these feelings were mixed together.
Yeah.
And then compared to now, when I journal, it's more like, I feel like I more accepted the fact that there's this uncertainty that will always be there and there's nothing I can do about it. I just can enjoy more what I have right now. Whatever comes next, I feel like I have more this trust that I will handle it. Like no matter what comes next, like we will manage it somehow.
I love that. Do you feel like your confidence has increased since moving?
100%. One other thing that I've learned that like I should really never ignore my inner voice. Whenever I ignored listening to my inner voice, I always regret it. Even if it didn't turn out like how I imagined, I always regret it more ignoring my inner voice than doing the thing I wanted to do. So I think this was for me like also one big lesson in this past year. Just like don't ignore because you already know the answer.
The gut feeling. This resonates so much with me because I have had to learn to do that too. And I'm working on this. I'm always seeking validation, like for someone to tell me, it's the right decision. I'm like, I know what I need to be doing. And you can't explain, that's why it's called gut feeling. You feel it in your gut, or like you feel it in your heart and you're like, I can't explain it with logic. It just feels wrong or it feels right.
Yeah.
And I'm the same way. When I don't, I beat myself up. I'm like, but I knew that didn't feel right.
Yeah.
But it's, as you gain experience in life, you start listening to it more.
Yeah, I
And
think
then,
it
yeah.
comes also with age. A bit.
Yeah.
Like the more experience you have, like the easier is it like also to follow your inner voice. I think.
Yeah.
It's become more like we just have more proof.
Yeah.
You know.
You have more proof to be like, that was a big screw up.
Yeah.
I mean,
I didn't listen to myself. I should
Yeah.
have listened to myself. So it's just like yeah.
So, Anya, when did Valencia start to feel like home to you?
Ah, yeah, that's a good one. I mean, does it feel like home?
Yeah. Or is it feeling like home too?
What does
Yeah.
it feel like? I don't know. Because for me, like, when you ask me, like, because I've been also talking with this with my friends, like, what does home mean to you? And for me, like, the answer always was and still is. It could be like very cliche, but for me, like, home is where my bookshelves are. I mean, it's where like I love to read. So for me, like having bookshelves, having place for the book, this is for me like something that represents like home, place of comfort and safety. And I still don't have that.
Oh, okay.
So for me right now, my books like back home are still in boxes, are still in like this closet at my parents' house. And even here, like my books don't actually have a place; they're just like all over the place, you know.
Okay.
So for me, it's like where is this home? Or when Valencia started to feel like home, it doesn't feel like home yet. I still don't have a place that it's like a place that I know that I will stay at.
Okay.
So for me, like this idea that Valencia is my home right now, it's not there yet. It's also like we haven't talked about it yet, but I'm actually leaving end of February.
You're probably leaving before this interview is released. Wait, are you
Which is
leaving?
gonna be fun to look back.
Are you leaving permanently or just for a little bit?
So that's the thing, because I'm going back to Slovenia for a few months.
Okay.
There are many reasons why I want to go back. The first one is I do miss my family, and while my parents can still do things, you know, I want to create a few more memories with them and just like to see like where our relationship can go. I feel like we're in this age where we're all like mature enough to have like a mature relationship.
Yeah.
And I want to experience it, you know?
Yeah.
Like that's one reason. And the other reason is because, as I said, like my first idea when I came to Valencia was like to stay for 2 months.
Yeah.
And then I kept extending it. And now I'm like, before I decide where I want to actually stay, I do want to give like a second chance to Slovenia. Like before I really make a decision, okay, I'm leaving for good, or at least like for a longer period of time.
Wow.
I feel like that's fair to myself and also like to my homeland.
Yeah. So going back after having lived here for a year, your perspective going back to Slovenia, you're going to look at things very differently.
So this is actually the same as when I came to Valencia. It's like there's this curiosity and also fear in a way.
Yeah.
Fear because I have no idea how it's gonna look like, not like Anja, like today. How is she gonna feel back in Slovenia?
Yeah.
Like, can she create the life she wants there? Because, I mean, there's a reason why I left Slovenia. And now I'm going back to that place, which was making me depressed, you know, in a way.
Yeah.
But also, like, I mean, I think I did learn a lot about myself in this past year. And I am curious, actually, like, how it's gonna feel like being back home. Because like it's not like a final decision. It's not like I'm going back for good. I mean, luckily I have this option. I can always leave.
Yeah, exactly.
So we will see.
Yeah. Oh, I'm excited to see where this takes you because interesting what you said. Slovenia is probably the same as it was a year ago, but you are not the same. You have changed.
Yeah.
And maybe going back to a place as a different person or a different version of yourself will also make that experience different for you.
Yeah, I mean, that's why I'm curious.
So I want to talk a little bit about why art is important to you. Can you tell me more about what makes it a special part of your life?
It's very simple answer, and it just like it gives me pure joy. Whenever I go to art classes, it's just like for those 2 hours twice per week, I'm only drawing. I'm not being stressed about anything. I'm just focused on that one thing. And for me, doing art or just like doing something creative and being like deep into a flow, it's very healing. It helps me to disconnect from my work, from stress. It makes my life more fulfilled. This idea of like creating something, for me, yeah, it just gives me a lot of joy. Basically, that's the only reason why I do it. There's no, because for example, a lot of times when I ask people like, okay, I'm taking classes, art classes, like for watercolor or whatever, it's like, so how are you gonna like, are you planning to earn some money with that? And I'm like, no, I'm just doing it because I really enjoy it. That's all. I don't have any other reason. I just enjoy it.
And that should be a good enough answer, right?
Yeah.
I'm doing this because it makes me happy.
Yeah.
And that's it.
To many people, when I say it, it sounds weird. It's like, why? They just don't get it.
Yeah.
That's the feeling I get.
Yeah.
And then I feel like I had to like over-explain.
You have to justify.
Yeah, exactly.
This is my plan with my watercolors.
Yeah, exactly. And I just like, I'm just like, I enjoy learning. And yeah, and for me, it's fun and I enjoy it. And that's it.
I love it.
Yeah.
Had you been pulled to creative or art since you were little, or is that something that you've unlocked as an adult?
Actually, no, not really. I wasn't drawing. I wasn't doing anything until I came to Valencia. I was like, it's just, I always wanted to, but like I said, I never saw options back then.
Yeah.
But coming to Valencia, it created those options for me.
Yeah. Isn't that so beautiful that it takes moving across an ocean? Like I told you, I'm taking a candle making class tomorrow. When I was 10 years old in Peru, I would make candles and sell them. This was 26 years ago.
Okay.
And then that creative passions, I kind of put them aside.
Yeah.
Because I felt like it was important for me to focus on school. And now as an adult, I'm like, I want to go to a candle making class because Valencia, here I feel like I can be anything and do anything I want. And it's just for me.
I can relate to that. Yeah. Yeah, totally. Also, like why I started my own Substack, like writing. I had that thing on my wish list for years, and I never started it. Yeah. But then coming here to Valencia, I feel like I got rid of all those things that were holding me back home. And it's also, I've met the right people.
Yeah.
I got this positive encouragement. Yeah, you should do it. Like if you want to do it, like why not? Just try it. And that's for me kind of created this. Okay, I'm gonna start this year. I'm gonna start my own Substack. I'm gonna start writing and yeah, just see where it goes.
I love it. I love your Substack, and I want to talk more about it now that we're having this conversation and having read some of your articles. That for you, home is where your bookshelf is.
Yeah.
So, tiny little ideas. What does it mean to you?
A tiny little idea.
And I love the name, by the way. It's so like intriguing. Like I feel like when I read your bio, I feel like I'm opening a window into like a cozy little room where you're sitting down, drinking your coffee and reading a book. That's the vibe it gives.
I actually love that because I think that was my idea. Like to create like this very comfortable place. If someone reads my stuff, feels like this feeling of comfort. So I love to hear that. Like that was the idea.
Good.
But the reason why I had this wish, okay, I want to write. I love reading and I also love writing and everything that comes with it. And I was like thinking, I didn't want to overcommit.
Yeah.
That's why like, if you open my Substacks, you will see there's like 2 sections. One is like these week notes, which is like a collection of everything that piques my interest or what I read or like what I watch or whatever, or some reflections. Then I have like also these interviews with people I've met here.
Right.
The idea for the week notes was because I need something easy to start with, not to put too much pressure on myself, not to start with like, okay, I'm gonna like every month I'm gonna publish like, I don't know, 2 very long essays or whatever.
Yeah.
I just need something to get myself into the habit of actually like writing. So that's how it started. And then, yeah, and also the idea for the interview series.
Yeah, living abroad.
Yes, the living abroad, which is actually the interviews I'm doing with friends and people I've met here in Valencia. I mean, the idea of moving abroad, like according to social media, it's very romanticized, or how to say. You know, your life will change for the better. Everything's gonna be like, you know, shiny or whatever.
Yeah.
But it's not true.
No.
You know, there are like, for me, there was like so many like unexpected feelings that I have to deal with.
Yeah.
And I wanted to talk a bit, I wanted to shine a light a bit more also on those parts, like the hard experiences, you know, the hard moments. So that was one reason. And the other one, that I wanted to kind of like create this gift also to my friends. Like, let's have something more permanent. And I imagined this as a like, yeah, a written interview. Because I love to write, I love to read, so it was a very selfish, like the station for a while, like a written format.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's second reason.
I absolutely love it. What has been the most exciting thing that's happened through this experience of writing again and being like, I'm doing this consistently?
I mean, I had to let go of perfectionism for sure. Because for me, this was always like my strength and weakness, you know? So I really had to let go of this idea that everything needs to be perfect. And just like, it was more like consistency over perfection. I had like three people reached out to me. They texted me saying like, I really love what you're doing. It's very inspiring. It always makes me want to do something. Like either it's writing their own blog, or like traveling more, like going outside of their country. And I found that very heartwarming. It's very easy to get obsessed with like, how many views do you get? How many likes do you get?
The validation.
Yeah.
Right?
Now that I see that we talk about it, it actually connects really well with the title of the name of my Substack, Tiny Little Ideas.
Yeah.
If I can give someone these like tiny little ideas or scenes, like that's the point.
That's the goal.
Yeah, that's the goal.
And you're doing it.
Yeah. Oh, so excited. It feels nice, yeah.
I love it. Okay, so I have a few wrap-up questions. How do you think Valencia has shaped the life that you're building for yourself?
I think in Valencia, it showed me how my life can look like if I just let it go, stop worrying about what others think about my way of living. I always felt like this pressure that I need to fit in some kind of like rules or like images of what other people think my life should look like. And there was always like this, constant like fight or whatever, like what I want and what others want. And here it was really just like, okay, what I want, like what I need. And I had like time and space to explore that. I feel like it gave me that, just a safe space to explore who am I actually. You kind of leave everything behind and you really have like, okay, I'm gonna rewrite my own story. Like I'm gonna do something different, not being impacted by your own environment that maybe like kept you stuck back home.
Right. What would you say has surprised you the most about starting over in a new country?
For me, like what surprised me the most and really like caught me by surprise was just like dealing with all those feelings. The first few months I was really struggling with insomnia. I mean, it was the consequence of dealing with the uncertainty. Like for me, like I've never had to deal with so much uncertainty before, like never knowing like what comes next. Even now, for example, like I don't know exactly how my life is gonna look like in 5 months from now.
Yeah.
But now it's easier to accept that. But like the first 3 months here for me were like, super rough, like super tough to how to, just accept the fact that there will always be like this, not knowing of what comes next.
Yeah. Would you say that this experience of living here this past year has been worth it for you, starting over abroad?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
I mean, I would recommend if you have an option, if you're thinking about it, just go for it.
Yeah.
I feel like it's so rewarding I mean, you need to figure out things on your own, how to overcome challenges, how to solve problems, like just how to, build your life on your own. And I think like that's one of the most rewarding experiences you can have in your life.
Yeah. Final question. What do you know about yourself today that maybe you didn't know about yourself a year ago?
I'm a much more social person than I thought I was.
Really?
I never knew that I'm enjoying meeting new people so much. And that's because I always labeled myself that I'm introvert, which I am, I still am. Like I need my own time to recharge.
Yeah.
But I was always also like thinking that, okay, if you're an introvert, I had this idea, then you kind of like don't like hanging out with people. But the thing is that I just wasn't hanging out with the right people back then. But here, meeting all these like expats and like people with like from different countries, different cultural backgrounds, I found it like, yeah, for me it's so exciting. Like it evolved in me some kind of curiosity that I never knew I had. So yeah, that's what
I love that. I really enjoyed this conversation with you today, and thank you for walking with me through the wind of 20 miles per hour and sitting with me. This is lovely.
No, thank you.
Yeah.
That's fun.